Egg prices have doubled over the past year. That's a breakfast emergency because my girlfriend loves to eat eggs and avocado on toast. Here are a dozen things to know in order to survive the Eggpocalypse. And at the end of the video, I'll share my plan to keep my girlfriend from going hungry. This is Gray Man Prep. Let's crack into it. Number 1, buying eggs. Some of you might be thinking, I can still afford eggs, so what's the big deal? Well, I've got some bad news for you. Finding eggs on the shelf can be a whole different story. And when eggs are in stock, it's total chaos. People grabbing cartons left and right like they're the last ones on earth. In response, many stores are now limiting egg purchases no matter how much money you've got. Okay, I get it. Not having eggs isn't exactly a full-blown emergency. But when basic essentials become a struggle to get, it usually means there are bigger problems on the horizon. Number 2, egg crime. In fact, eggs have become so valuable, it's become a criminal enterprise. A few weeks ago, 100,000 eggs worth $40,000 were stolen right out of a trailer. And it's not an isolated incident. Egg thefts are happening all over the country. Smugglers have even gotten into the egg business. While the US has strict regulations on food imports, eggs are much cheaper just across the border in Mexico. But getting caught with illegal eggs can result in fines of up to $10,000. If I can't afford eggs, I definitely can't afford that. Plus, the US and Mexico have different food safety standards. So it's not just about saving a few bucks, it's about making sure you're eating safe and healthy food. Number 3, hen crisis. So when will this egg crisis finally end? The US is an egg-producing powerhouse, and most of the eggs we eat are laid right here at home. But millions of egg-laying hens are dying right now, and that's going to disrupt the supply chain for a long time. To fill the gap, the US is increasing egg imports from other countries like Turkey. No, not the bird, the country. But don't expect prices to drop anytime soon. Experts are warning that egg prices will stay high and might even jump up another 20% this year. Number 4, deadly causes. And you might be shocked to learn that actually, we're the ones killing these hens on purpose. It sounds crazy, right? But it's all part of a bigger health crisis that's been unfolding over decades. The H5N1 influenza virus first appeared in China in 1996. Since then, this bird flu has been evolving in wild bird populations and spreading worldwide. You see, the virus spreads through bird saliva and feces. And anyone who drives knows that wild birds love to drop their bombs everywhere. It's basically biological warfare, and outbreaks of bird flu have exploded in the past few years. In the US, when any bird tests positive, the entire flock, sometimes millions of birds, is put down to stop the spread. Since 2022, over 150 million chickens have been culled, causing major egg shortages and sky-high prices. Number 5, public health. So, is bird flu dangerous to people? Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news, there's been dozens of human infections and a few hospitalizations. Symptoms range from fever and cough to serious ones, like severe breathing problems and organ failure. And tragically, there's already been one fatality. So now you're thinking, how on earth can there be any good news? Well, here it is. The chances of getting infected with bird flu are still very low. Most cases so far have been in farm workers, meaning the risk to the general public is limited. And there haven't been any cases of human-to-human spread in this current outbreak, at least not yet. Number 6, egg safety. So, with bird flu rapidly spreading, are eggs still safe to eat? Well, the answer is a bit more complicated than you might think, and it all comes down to a chicken's special anatomy. You see, chickens have a single opening called the cloaca. It handles everything besides eating, including egg laying, waste removal, and yes, mating too. This means freshly laid eggs can be covered in poop. And it gets worse. Eggshells are naturally porous with over 10,000 tiny holes. Each one is like an open doorway for virus and bacteria. But don't panic. Every egg has a protective layer on the outside called the bloom or the cuticle, which seals the pores and keeps the inside safe. There's one problem though. Most of the eggs you're buying today actually don't have this layer of protection. You might have noticed that farm fresh eggs or eggs from other countries are sold unrefrigerated, while eggs in US supermarkets are kept in the fridge. Why is that? Well, in the US, we don't really take any chances when it comes to food safety. We completely sanitize our eggs, obliterating all bacteria and viruses, but also in the process, destroy the cuticle as collateral damage. This leaves the egg clean, but fully exposed to new pathogens, which is why we have to refrigerate them. So back to our original question, are eggs still safe to eat with bird flu going around? At least in the US, the answer is yes. And actually, chickens usually stop laying eggs if they get infected. Number 7, do it yourself. As you can see, chickens are at the center of the egg crisis. And with prices soaring, many people are now cutting out the middleman and getting their eggs straight from the source. How? By raising their own chickens, of course. Depending on where you live, baby chicks can cost upwards of $5 to $7 each. And once mature, they can lay up to an egg a day. Imagine having just a few chickens around, providing enough eggs to feed the entire family. but you need to act fast. Most chicks are sold in the spring, and with the increased demand, some farm stores are selling out. Number 8, not always sunny side up. But before you rush off to start your own flock, there are some serious gotchas you need to know about. If all you want is cheap eggs, chickens might not be the answer. You need the space, and a chicken coop can cost anywhere from a few $100s to $1,000. Then there are the ongoing costs: chicken feed, medical costs, and other equipment. And don't forget about the time commitment, feeding and cleaning up after them. If you're buying chicks, you'll have to wait for months before they even lay a single egg. And as chickens age, their egg production slows down, but you still have to feed them. Eventually, you'll face a tough decision. Should you keep your old hens as pets or turn them into chicken stew? Raising chickens for eggs can be very cost-effective in the long run, but only if you're ready for the commitment and lifestyle changes. Number 9, feathered friends. But chickens offer so much more than just eggs. In the garden, they're natural pest controllers happily munching on bugs. Much better than harsh pesticides. One possible downside, chickens poop everywhere. But that can be a bonus too. Chicken poop is an amazing, nutrient-rich fertilizer. Just make sure to compost it first because it's too strong to use fresh and can burn your plants. Chickens also make great pets and are low maintenance compared to many other animals. They're gentle and nurturing and can teach kids valuable lessons about nature and responsibility. That said, check your local rules first before jumping in because not all places allow them. Number 10, try it out. Maybe this all sounds great, but you're still on the fence about raising chickens. Well, here's an interesting option: renting chickens. Yep, that's right. Some farmers are offering chicken rentals in response to high egg prices and the growing interest in backyard hens. These rentals usually come with an all-inclusive package, a chicken coop, feed, and everything you'll need to get started. Sounds like the perfect way to dip your beak in, right? But here's the catch: renting chickens isn't the most cost-effective solution. Still, if you're curious or unsure, renting could be a great way to enjoy fresh eggs without the full commitment. Number 11, egg storage. But if you really want to be prepared, you need to know about egg storage. One easy method is freezing them. Just crack the eggs, beat them lightly, and store in ice cube trays or freezer bags. Use frozen eggs within a year. For a longer lasting option, you can dehydrate scrambled eggs and turn them into a powder that lasts 5 to 10 years. Just add hot water and you're good to go. Want to go even further? A freeze dryer preserves eggs for decades. If you have farm fresh eggs, you can also try an old school method called water glassing. Mix water with sodium silicate or hydrated lime, which you can find in the canning aisle. Then store your eggs submerged in this solution for up to a year. With this method, make sure to use clean but unwashed eggs with the cuticle intact, so it won't work with store-bought eggs. Using these methods, you'll never have to worry about egg prices again, or even if they're in stock or not. Number 12, baking alternatives. But maybe you need eggs for baking. In many baking recipes, eggs are used to create a light and fluffy texture. But what if you could achieve the same results without cracking a single egg? Don't believe me? Well, here's the secret ingredient: carbonated water. The bubbles help recreate the same airy texture that eggs provide, and no one will be able to tell the difference. Just use a quarter cup to replace 1 egg. And make sure to use plain, unflavored soda water, or else you'll change the taste. If you don't have that on hand, use a mixture of water, oil, and baking powder. This method is great because it uses everyday pantry staples. Depending on the recipe, other substitutes can work as well: applesauce, bananas, and even something called aquafaba, bonus yolk, cheap protein. Or maybe you're not baking and just need another source of cheap protein. Okay, here are a few options. For something nutritious and cost-efficient, you can try chicken or beef liver, but that might not be to everyone's taste. With current egg prices, you might as well just buy chicken breast, thighs, or ground beef instead. Fish is also a great source of lean protein, but fresh fish can be pricey. So try tinned fish, which can also be stored for years. Tuna is very popular, but sardines and mackerel are great options as well. But what if you don't eat meat? Well, options like tofu and edamame are protein-rich and easy on the wallet. Silken tofu is also great for scrambling, and some brands are shelf-stable for up to a year. Various nuts and beans like chickpeas, lentils, and peanuts are both cost-effective and packed with protein. They also have a great shelf life. Okay, so here's my plan when it comes to my girlfriend's favorite breakfast: eggs and avocado on toast. Eggs are usually always in our fridge, but recently we haven't bought any. And avocados are also more expensive now because of the tariffs. So actually, we've been skipping out on her favorite breakfast, but luckily for me, she's been flexible. For preppers, the key to surviving whatever life throws at you is adaptability. So for light meals, we've been trying more tofu options. My girlfriend also loves seafood, so I've been considering some tinned fish too. I also have a freeze dryer, so I think if egg prices ever come back down, I'll start making my own scrambled egg powder. Because guess what? According to experts, bird flu isn't going anywhere, and it might even be the cause of the next great human pandemic. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next video. And let me know in the comments how you're dealing with the egg crisis. I'd love to hear if you've made any changes to your breakfast routine.